I've missed that song, guys. Welcome
Oh
back
yeah.
to This Is Our Year, the Minnesota Football Show with Mikey Kalpakoff, Kerry Armagost, and Austin Southers. We're back, baby. Took a little sabbatical for the summer, but football season is about to get up and going once again. So here we are, just like we never left. So, welcome to
What,
This
you
Is
thought we
Our
were
Year.
gonna make preseason episodes? We're not
No.
that strapped for content.
We're not getting paid to do this, guys. Just remember. We're not getting paid. Once we start getting paid, um, you know what? Maybe it has to go the other way. If we want to get paid, maybe we have to show that we deserve to get paid. But at this point, that's not what this podcast has become. But anyway, it's been so long since we've done something like this. So I guess to open up, how are you guys? What's been new? What's been your biggest thing? What's been your new thing for the summer when you haven't been spending all of your whole free time talking about Vikings football?
Austin goes first.
Well, I've been a part of 3 musicals this summer. Been kind of nonstop. Going into our 3rd one, we're doing the Rocky Horror Show, so that'll be super exciting. And then that's basically been eating up my whole time this summer. Been no free time. So
Yeah, life in the theater. That's kind of what I've been doing too. You know, eat, breathe, sleep. Life in the theater. That's kind of how it goes. If you know.
you know.
If you know, you know. Carrie, how about you?
I've been sleeping, and breathing, working at Junkyard Brewing, and having a good time there. Slinging beers in the summer heat. Doesn't get much better than that.
Okay.
Speaking of shows, and speaking of the beers, I think we need to pay a little tribute to Mikey. You were in a show this summer, Escape to Margaritaville. I think we owe a moment of silence for Mr. Jimmy Buffett.
Thanks, Jimmy. You can have your cheeseburger in paradise. You're forever wasting away in Margaritaville. Come Monday, it'll be all right. And
that was your whole personality for a while.
A bunch of other references. What was that now?
That was your whole personality for a while there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that. I'm just very thankful that I was able to gain an appreciation for Jimmy Buffett before he was able to pass. So I'm. Thanks, Jimmy, for everything that you brought into this world. Your legacy lives on through all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's always Jimmy. 5:00 in heaven.
Exactly. It's always 5:00 in heaven. There we go. there we go. But
it's 5:30 right now.
Yeah, it's great. It's 5:00 here.
We're in heaven time.
Yeah. I'm gonna get back out on the lake later. But before that, let's talk about some Vikings football. But before we do that, Kerry, I know you wanted to start a new segment on here. The Gopher Minute is what it's called.
The Gopher Minute.
Explain that.
It's the time starts now. So it is football season, right? It's football season, but we're not quite at the NFL yet, which is why, I've been, I got to get my fix. Got to get my fix of the football. So I've been watching college. For all of you who watched Colorado this weekend, congrats on that. I watched that too, and that was just a spectacle. But our Gophers, they played earlier this past week, and they won. They won to start out the season. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about the current roster or Nebraska, our opponent's current roster, but from the looks of it, it sounds like Nebraska's the school of the deaf and blind. So there's that for you. I don't really know. I don't think this win will add a whole lot of weight. I don't think we're going to get ranked because of this win. Neither of these teams were ranked beforehand, but we won. It was a last-second field goal. It was a low-scoring affair. Pretty boring. I did not watch the game. I only heard about it after. But now that they won this first game, hey, maybe the Gophers are good this year. And I just thought, it's the Minnesota football show. That's what we're here for, is Minnesota football.
And that's our Gopher Minute. That's it. That's our minute.
There it was.
And that's all we're gonna do. That's all we're gonna talk about, the Gophers. But yeah, that's
every week it's gonna be me getting cut off after a minute.
That's it. That's a minute. No, and honestly, I mean, there's. I will just add, it was the Gopher Minute, but I'm going to add, I was seeing on the news. I didn't watch the game either, but I did see people were ready to say, like, whoa, Nebraska, they're becoming what Minnesota fans have been for so many years. I'm like, okay, guys, it's one game. One game they won in a last-second field goal. I get that a lot of times that's how Minnesota has ended a lot of games, but let's not go right ahead and say the curse is broken, okay?
Yeah.
So, might be getting ahead of ourselves there. But let's talk a little bit about the Vikings. So I would say the biggest news that happened in this week would be obviously the 53-man roster came out. Not a lot of big surprises on there, other than I would say Jalen Reagor made the 53-man roster. Reportedly, we're hearing that
But he's gone now.
There were apparently trade calls coming in. I don't know if I believe it. If there were trade calls, you'd think that they would have taken them, being that they released him like immediately.
He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah. He's with the Patriots now, I believe.
Yeah, I think the whole trade call thing, and I saw a theory about this. I think that was a self-reported, like the Vikings are like, oh, we keep getting calls. I hope no one else calls. When in actuality, there probably weren't any calls whatsoever. And it was just like an advertisement of, hey, come and get him. We're hoping to get some sort of compensation from this.
Right. I mean, we spent a 4th-round pick on him last year, which I didn't hate. But, I mean, now looking at it in hindsight, 4th-round pick, which I guess doesn't really matter all that much in the grand scheme of things. Life goes on. Jalen Reagor, one disappointing season with the Vikings, and now we move on.
I preached it all year last year. Get him off the team, release him, cut him, do whatever you have to take. You never want to wish unemployment upon anybody, but that guy was not a match for what we had.
No, definitely not. So that was probably the most surprising thing in the 53-man roster, that he made the team and was immediately cut after reported trade calls went on, but whatever.
We seem to have this one player each year that we all like collectively just hate, and hate's a harsh word, but I felt like Jalen Reagor kind of filled that void last year, and then the year prior, it was like Xavier Rhodes.
Rhodes is a few years
Xavier
ago.
Rhodes for a couple of years there. Yeah.
So
Mike Zimmer was the scapegoat.
Mike Zimmer was the scapegoat for 1 year, but
Kirk Cousins has been the scapegoat as well. So I mean,
we've always kind of been kind to Kirk.
I think we have on this program here. We've been
even more now. I mean, my God, for those of you who have not seen quarterback, I feel like Kirk. Okay, there's 2 takes here. One, Kirk being on Netflix's quarterback is the best thing that could happen to this team, or the exact opposite, that it was the worst thing that could happen to this team. Because now he's in this new ESPN commercial about like the NFL season being scripted, and he has his shirt off in it. He's wearing the chain and everything,
which is
and
hilarious.
It seems like
those are great.
He's all over the NFL social medias now. Like everybody's pro Kirk. Which is this a distraction now that he's got all this fame? Clearly,
really
having all
weird.
the cameras around last year was not a distraction because we never heard about it. But
it's really weird to see everybody be so pro Kirk, though. Like I don't remember what he was ranked as far as the top 100 players, but there was only like 5 quarterbacks ranked above him. Like the players in the league picture him as a top 6 quarterback, which is crazy. That before this documentary came out, people are saying, oh, he's a fringe top 10. That's kind of been as high as anybody was willing to put him. But the players in the league themselves they rank him as the 6th best quarterback in the league. And that's great. If he can continue to play the way that he's been playing, I'm totally open to an extension. Not to say that he doesn't get hurt, because again, like I haven't finished the whole documentary, but I've seen enough and I've heard enough to know that he was playing hurt last season. He's just a really, really tough guy.
And an actor. He's an actor.
He is. Love him. Man after my own heart. It's good. He stopped through Little Falls as well. He went up to the Brainerd Lakes, Nisswa area.
And then Thielen Meats.
Took a picture. Yeah, we're getting a lot of celebrities through that area. Miles Teller as well stopped by like the week before. Not at Thielen Meats, but in Brainerd, Nisswa. So
yeah.
But yeah, so 53-man roster, Netflix quarterback. Another big piece of news. We got the deal done with TJ Hawkinson. And, something that really grinds my gears about this whole situation. Everybody's always like, they're already commenting when they see that. They're like, oh, looks like your ear and your back feel better now, huh, TJ? Well, I don't know. Part of that thing, why do we not believe that he can also have an ear infection at the same time as being in contract negotiations? They're like, oh, you feel better now that you got your big contract? You know what? The guy's a good
Which one
player.
was it recently? It's Jonathan Taylor. His back hurts.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Because
know.
what was the contract? 66 mil.
There's some enough to make him the highest paid tight end in history.
Yeah, it also is combining with the current deal that he's on now. So it's the contract was X, but it's X plus the Y that he's
I think
currently
it's valued
on,
at
which adds up to
66
something.
million.
I think that sounds about right.
Kind of crazy for a tight end, but I love it. I think it's really gonna put him on kind of like the looking glass, and he's really gonna have to step it up this next probably 2 years. Just because.
Prove it.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. It's more than I anticipated us giving him, just with kind of like the boat we had with knowing that Justin Jefferson's gonna get a bag. Kirk Cousins might get an extension. I mean, I know we did kind of let Dalvin go, so that's going to help relieve some, but not enough, I think, to justify 66 mil for a tight end.
It just blows my mind that as soon as I read the headline, that was like, so TJ's kind of holding in, just like Danielle Hunter did, and he's looking to be the highest paid. He's looking to reset the market and be the highest paid tight end in the league. My immediate thought was, no deal's getting done here. We can't have two of the highest paid. Are we the new Kansas City Chiefs? Like, are we going to give? I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody. Are we going to give Jordan Addison a 10-year, $500 million contract next? Like, are we just going to start handing out massive $100 million contracts to every young player now?
There's something to be said about, letting go of Dalvin and his big money, I don't hate any of the moves, and we're gonna make Justin Jefferson the highest paid guy. If all goes well this season, I wouldn't be surprised if we extend Kirk as well. But like at the end of the day, we have to pay the people who we want here. We have to pay our good players. That's just how it goes. So anybody who's complaining about how he's way overpaid, man, and he might be, who really knows? He might be way overpaid, but
we won't find out for another year.
No, it's resetting the market, so we really don't know.
Exactly.
And we won't find out for a year. Yeah.
But it was smart. I think it was perfect timing for him to get that, especially with Dalvin leaving. And I mean, we have a very nice offense, but there's a lot of uncertainties about the offense now. Because I mean, who's going to be the number? We assume Jefferson's going to be the number one target option. Who's number two? Who's number three? Who's number four? Let's not forget,
Justin Jefferson was number 4 or number 3 going into his rookie year. Mm-hmm. So.
And we don't know.
Became wide receiver 1. So things happen. KJ might slide. Jalen Naylor might rise. I mean, who knows? It's all wide open.
Right, and there's also the possibility that KJ still steps up and really solidifies himself in that number 2 role. And maybe Jordan Addison or Jalen Naylor is a really strong 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know. And I mean, right now with the money, I'm assuming TJ Hawkinson's going to be the number 2 option. I expect for the amount of money he's getting to have, Travis Kelce numbers. I don't expect for him to be as good as Travis Kelce.
Yeah, so what numbers are we expecting then? What would make you go, okay, that was worth it? 1,000 yards?
1,000 yards, 80 to 85 receptions, bare minimum, at least
8 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would say 6 to 8 touchdowns at least.
I think that's a really good place to start. And look at the impact that he made last year through half the season. Well, a little over half the season. I mean, I think those numbers justify the contract that he got. He's young.
It's not like we changed the scheme on him. Detroit was rotating coordinators during his first 2 or 3 years anyways.
Mm-hmm. And he's young. He's really young. So he's already shown that much promise for Detroit and us already.
He's your guys' age, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Around that. Yeah. Now I'm at that age where it's really weird because I'm like, some of these NFL players are like children.
And I'm approaching that too. Like, I was watching college ball yesterday and I was like,
I'm older than these people.
2 or 3 years younger than me.
Yeah, Hawkinson is 26 years old. July 3rd, 97.
So yeah, he's just a little bit. Hey, that's my mom's birthday, but
not 97 though.
Not 97, no. But yeah, so he's about a week and a half younger than I am. Wow, what am I doing with my life?
No, isn't that so weird to think about? It's weird that to be at the age where like we're older than a lot of these superstar athletes, and it's like, gosh, millions of dollars. Look at what they've done, everything they've accomplished, and what am I doing?
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves. I think he's like 21 right now, 22.
Yeah, he's a beast. But it's funny because we hear, you have that discussion about running backs, like, oh, they're 27, they're 28, they're falling out of their prime. And I'm like, am I washed? I'm 26. Am I washed now? Like,
and Madison, I think, is 26 now. Like, this is supposed to be like his ceiling,
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of miles. That's it. That's another thing I think you brought up yesterday when we were talking, Mikey, is it's one thing to be 27, 26 and being like going into your prime, or being 27, 26 where you've already had 3 years of just being just used as a work truck.
Well, right. Under the Zimmer era, Dalvin Cook it's like he was a brand new car and Mike Zimmer put 200,000 miles on Dalvin Cook. And now, like, Dalvin Cook to the Jets. That didn't happen last time we talked. Dalvin Cook to the Jets. What kind of an outlook are they expecting to get from him? I mean, like,
I thought they were the last team he would go to.
He's got something in the tank, yeah. But like we all saw last year, he definitely lost a step. And it's like they're getting a used car with 200,000 miles on it. Old reliable, maybe. Austin, I see what you're doing there.
He's ring chasing.
Looking for that ring.
He goes to a team that has a lot of hype and he can share the workload. I mean, if Breece Hall can stay somewhat healthy and just shift the load.
Breece Hall's ready to go, which is why I was so confused I thought the Jet, and they already have, a couple running backs on the roster as well, Zonovan Knight and just all these guys. I was like, this is the last
they let him go.
Cook
they let Bam Knight go.
Yeah, and then they ended up letting that guy go. But so what's with Breece Hall there, with Tyler Conklin, Garrett Wilson, the list goes on. Corey Davis is no longer there anymore, but Mecole Hardman, Alan Lazard. Like, what? That's so much.
Tyler Conklin.
Yeah, and Tyler Conklin. What do we expect for Dalvin Cook? 500 yards, maybe. I think 500 yards max.
More.
I don't see much more than 600 yards with as talented as a guy as Breece Hall is. Dalvin might get something in the beginning of the season, or maybe in the middle.
A third of the running back.
I can't imagine them paying him as much money and only expecting 500 yards. And let's be frank, Dalvin Cook, yeah, he's done a lot, but he's still been able to be very effective. He can receive the ball. I don't imagine him being where he was in the last few years, but 500 yards I think is a little criminal on him. And also the thing with Breece Hall is he's coming off an injury. He's still technically this is his second year. So we don't know exactly how he was really good at the beginning of last season, but we don't know exactly how well it's going to transition over now, especially coming off an injury, especially coming off a team that just got a new quarterback that they're going to probably plan on throwing the ball a lot more. I think the reason they grabbed Dalvin Cook is it's a safer bet. It's a safer bet going into next season than I think Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall has a way higher ceiling, but we just don't know exactly what to expect after an injury first year. So I think
it's a safer bet maybe for somebody who didn't spend the whole season watching the Vikings last year. Because again, Dalvin was still able to put up over 1,000 yards. He had, like, by the numbers, a pretty good season. But remember just how frustrating it was to watch his yards per carry any given game. And think about that. We have this,
and the
this
Jets
whole
have
year,
arguably a worse O-line.
This last year that they had with Dalvin, he's got another year of wear and tear under his belt there. Now going into a brand new team, I think 500, 600, maybe 700 yards.
All-purpose 600 is my max, but that's a worse O-line too. It's a worse O-line and a new system for Dalvin. And you can say, oh, he's a veteran, but he's only been in like 2 systems his whole career. I think this is I think all-purpose. He's gonna get about a third of all running back touches.
But again, like Austin said,
I think it's 50-50
it's a very stacked team. Good quarterback. Really good wide receiver play as well. Same as Minnesota. Seems like some really good defensive play. So, it might just be a better situation for him. It could be, and honestly, with Dalvin, I wish him the best. I can't say that I wish Aaron Rodgers the best. But
have you watched Hard Knocks?
No, I haven't watched any of Hard Knocks. How is it?
I hate to say it, but he looks likable.
Yeah. At least he's not a Packer anymore, I guess.
Also, I think Rodgers is going to trust Dalvin more than Breece Hall, just from his history in the North.
Well, there's a reason they brought in Dalvin, too.
Yeah. And that's just it. I think we're really downplaying the fact of, Breece Hall is going to take it. I mean, I just don't think that. I think by week 6, it's going to be close to a 50-50 split. If one of them doesn't get hurt by then maybe we'll see it transition more to whoever's been the more dominant one, which I do think would be Breece Hall, just because he's a little bit younger and he's been a part of that system a little bit longer. But I don't know. I think it's a team that has uncertainty in the running back position. I don't think they fully trust Breece Hall just yet. And I think, why would you grab a guy like Dalvin Cook if you don't plan on using him? And using him a third of the run plays, I think, is a little criminal for a guy of his value and the team is spending money on.
I think he's about to have an Ezekiel Elliott type season. Like Ezekiel Elliott's going to do the same thing in New England with Ramondre Stevenson. Like Ramondre Stevenson's going to get 2/3 of the snaps. Zeke's going to get about a third. They're just bringing him in for
line snaps.
Yeah, the line's going to go all Zeke.
Work and
going to go all Zeke.
Well, anyways, this isn't the New York, New Jersey football show. It's
right. Let's get back to the Vikings. Let's talk about week 1. Week 1 coming up. A week from today.
Can we backtrack just a second?
Yeah.
Just a moment. I feel like not enough people are talking about the Vikings have not won a preseason game since 2019.
Yeah.
There's a stat that I don't
I have
care
complained about this on the show. I've complained about this in the show. It is the preseason. Who cares? But Vikings, I feel like, are one of the only teams in the league that does not play a single starter. Like, even people like your wide receiver 2 or 3. Who cares? Bench them the whole preseason. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Mahomes played. Rodgers played. Jack played. I mean,
look at 2 years ago when we decided to put in the starters on the last preseason game. That was supposed to be Irv Smith's breakout season. He looked like he was the best player in camp. Reporters couldn't stop talking about it. They put him in the preseason, and he's out like the whole year because he got hurt in a meaningless game. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
You better hope that the Vikings start, the second that they look a little slow week 1, the O-line isn't moving, we're having communication issues. That's the first thing that, pardon my French, fans are going to bitch about is the fact that, you didn't play any starters in the preseason.
You're not wrong.
At least Mahomes played. The Chiefs are winning by 45 right now against Detroit,
You're not wrong on that. Like that, whether that's true or not, or whether it's the reasoning or not, it's what people are going to say, and I'm going to be annoyed by it, and that's it. You're right. People are going to say that because it's probably going to happen. There's going to be some mistakes made, and people are going to blame it on, why didn't you play them in the preseason? Well, there's really good reasons to not play them in the preseason. We've seen it. But
putting Mahomes out there, what kind of balls do you – I get, maybe resting Kirk or resting Alexander Madison, because then if he goes down, now you're having to – we're already kind of, searching the free agency market.
And rest Justin Jefferson, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. But, guys like DJ Wanham and, there are so many guys that just probably need some time to play that just did not play at all in the preseason, and that really, really frustrates me.
It was nice to see Jaren Hall get a lot of play time, and it was I like Jaren Hall. I liked what I saw. I liked that he wasn't afraid to try to extend the play. I would like to see him take a little bit more risk, honestly, and that's just it, He's not afraid to throw the ball away when he has to, which isn't a bad thing. Do I think he's going to be the next starter? Not necessarily, but
no, not even a little bit.
I mean, I think he's I think he showed some promise and he showed growth throughout all 3 games. Certainly, I think.
And I think the other thing for the Vikings, I mean, it's, there's also business decisions to be made here. I did not watch any of the preseason. I only, read the in-depth analysis afterwards because it's like, I don't really care about watching, Jalen Naylor run up and down the field. Sorry, I don't care about Jaren Hall either.
It was on. I watched it because it was on. That's it.
If Jordan Addison played the first half of at least 2 of those 3 preseason games, I would have watched.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I agree. I kind of wish we could have seen Jordan Addison play a little bit more. I understand why not. You don't want to risk any, like you said, Mikey, an injury like we have with Irv Smith when it's supposed to be a huge season for him. But I don't know. I just don't really invest too much time or thought into the preseason for the Vikings. We seem to be one of those teams that we know who we want starting, and this is more of just to finalize who's getting cut and not getting cut. And
Yeah, it was good to see some of the depth players. I don't know. I mean, Ivan Pace was a guy, went
Huge
undrafted.
story.
Yeah, big story, undrafted. And he was doing a lot of work with the ones in practice too. He makes the team. I think that's great. You know, we need as much linebacker depth as we can get, because it was just terrible last year. So,
and it's not going to be any better this year unless Asamoah gets more snaps. It's going to be the exact same thing last year of the teams throw swing passes to the running backs, and Jordan Hicks and Eric Kendricks are too slow to catch up with them. First down.
yep. Or they just throw it right in the middle. You know, like.
But getting a guy like Asamoah or Pace, just more speed. Who cares about their, lack of experience or maybe ability to read a play? At least they'll get to the ball quicker.
Right. Fast and wrong is better maybe than slow and right sometimes, because eventually at some point you're going to start making the right decisions.
Yeah. There it is.
There we go. But exciting to hear a little bit about Brian Flores' defense throughout this whole practice thing. And they say it's been making it really difficult on the offense, which is great. I mean, Harrison Smith has been used on the blitz a lot of times. So I'm very, very, very excited to see what they can continue to do with Harrison Smith, because, again, he still has a lot more in the tank. He's an older guy, takes a pay cut to stay here because he's excited about what's going on. So week 1, Vikings at home against the Buccaneers, with Baker Mayfield's Buccaneers. Obviously there's no game that's a gimme, and we've had this conversation before. This is our 3rd season going through this now. I remember before Joe Burrow's breakout, we're like, oh yeah, couldn't ask for a better week 1 than the Bengals. And if we lose, then that's going to show us where we're going for the rest of the season. We did. We got burned. That's not going to happen again. That being said, again, no game is a gimme.
No.
But at least we're facing the Eagles week 1. We're facing the Buccaneers. It gives us a decent chance. I feel good about
at home.
It's at least
with
going to be
jerseys.
Yeah. Oh, the classic jerseys. I am excited. Those look.
So as soon as I feel like I have sufficient funds, I told myself as soon as those jerseys were announced, I am getting either TJ or JJ, whichever one figures out their contract first. And TJ won. So I will be ordering the jersey at some point soon.
There you go.
Cool. Speaking of throwbacks, let's throw it back to last year.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Is it time?
It is time. Speaking of dominant week 1 victories, last season we had a pretty good week 1 victory. A really good one against a divisional rival at home.
It was Green Bay. Give me the points.
Correct. It was Green Bay, but that's not the question. The question is, how many touchdowns did Kirk Cousins throw in the week 1 victory? And I believe we are at, is it just 1-0?
1-0, I got the last point.
Yep. So, Carrie, it will go to you then. So, in the week 1 victory against the Packers, how many touchdowns did Kirk Cousins throw?
I'm going to defer to Mike. I have an idea in my head, but I want to see where Mikey's head is at.
Well, yeah, we all have an idea in our head. I'm going to say, because it's one of 2 answers, right? Are you with me on that, Carrie?
Sort of. Yes.
If you guys knew the score.
It could be a trick question where I'm not even remembering it remotely correct at all, and it's actually just like 1,
Don't forget, I do trick questions. That was what the last one was.
You what?
That was what the last question was a trick, and nobody got the point. But this one, let's see.
Yeah, that's why we didn't, because this is episode 3 of the new season here. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say he threw 3 touchdowns.
That's what I was going to say.
3 touchdowns. Carrie.
So if Mikey says 3, I can't also say 3?
No, you have to do something different. You had the opportunity to say 3, and you deferred.
I remember he threw the one to JJ, and then I think he threw another one to JJ. but he had to have thrown another one besides those, right? I think one went to like Johnny Munt or something. Ugh. I know it was more than 2.
Do you know that? Because I don't know that.
I feel like it was 3. But I thought you were maybe going to say 2.
Well, you should have just said it. You should have said what you wanted to say.
Final answer, Carrie.
I'm going to say 2. Final answer.
Congratulations, Carrie. You get the point.
Yeah.
23-7, 2 touchdowns passed by Kirk Cousins and 2 field goal kicks.
So both JJ?
Let me quickly check on that. I didn't look at that one. Yep, both to JJ. Great game from JJ. 9 receptions, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. Kirk Cousins went 23 for 32, 277, and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook also had a pretty decent game with 20 carries, 90 rushing yards. And we were able to keep Aaron Rodgers under 200 passing yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. So
Nice.
it was
here's
actually
my
a
thing.
really good start to the season for the Vikings last year.
Made it seem like that's going to be a good defense, which it wasn't.
No, it really did seem like that. And but then we kind of got our just desserts when we faced Green Bay at home. They kind of did pretty much the same thing to us.
Here's my thing. I'm really nervous about the, like I said earlier, the whole Kirk Cousins being on quarterback. It's like either going to be really good for us or really bad for us because now he's a national name. How many players have that kind of recognition without winning a Super Bowl, or appearing in the Super Bowl, right? Quarterbacks especially. The thing I'm nervous about is Justin Jefferson. I'll say it. I'm really, really nervous for this season. And I feel like we as fans should bring our hopes down just a little bit. Because last season, when he almost approached 2K, he was almost still sort of underground at that point, where people rankings going into the season, he was number 3 at best in most people's rankings.
I think that's generous. I think
that's generous. It was usually Kupp and Adams at least above him, if not also like Jamar Chase.
And Tyreek Hill.
And Tyreek Hill, yes, etc. So it seems he is top 2, and in most rankings, he's not 2.
Yeah.
So what we saw in Philly and in Green Bay, when we faced Green Bay, especially the second time in the season, where Jair Alexander did kind of do his thing a little bit, but he only did it because he had usually the slot corner helping as well as a safety up top.
Which doesn't matter. They stopped him, whatever.
Yeah, they stopped him. I would say get ready for that. So I just hope that the Vikings, especially week 1, I'm concerned because Bucs have very, very good corners, which I don't know. Are we pre-gaming Bucs right now too?
Yeah, I guess me as well, huh?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
My hot take is Justin Jefferson goes for under 100 yards week 1.
I agree with you a lot. Me and Mikey have had this conversation quite a bit over this summer. I 100%. He was. I mean, I don't want to use the term underground because I do think he was pretty well known going into last season.
Yeah, well known, but not
number 1 as he is now. And with what I've seen, especially last season, he typically, besides that catch against Buffalo, doesn't do well in double teams. And he gets, if teams really want to lock him up, they can. And if they lock up Justin Jefferson, it hurts the Vikings bad. I'm really hoping that this Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson can step into positions where defenses do not have the luxury of putting 2 of their best defenders, a cornerback or a free safety or safety, on him. I think that's going to, if we have those 2 guys that can give us kind of somewhat of a reliability, I think we'll be good. And I think it's going to help for Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I agree, Kerry. I think we got to keep our eyes on, because I think there's going to be a lot of double coverages on him.
I just hope they've done their homework. I hope the Vikings have done their homework and planned for plays where he's not the primary receiver for week 1.
And they have to. I mean, anytime you have a person that is named the best in their position, you need to expect that. And I'm nervous about it. I mean, I still think Justin Jefferson easily going to have over 1,000 yards receiving this year.
Oh, easily.
But I do think, this is a hot take, and it's not a take I like to say as a Vikings fan, I think his numbers are going to drop this year.
Yes. I think they're gonna kind of Michael Jordan him. They're literally gonna beat the you know what out of him
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to be mean because I mean he's way better athlete than I'll ever be in my life, but he's kind of small. He's a smaller receiver. He doesn't have an AJ Brown, DK Metcalf frame where you can handle a double team because you're big enough that you can body him up. And I mean,
He's
all our
physical after
receivers,
the catch, but not before.
KJ Osborne's a decent size, but like even Jordan Addison, he's small. He's very small for his position. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I really do think it's going to depend on Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. How well they perform this year is going to, I think, transition to how well Justin Jefferson's performing this year, or vice versa. Justin Jefferson, if he gets double teamed, I think we're going to see a lot of openings for TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison.
I agree with you on that.
We're going against Baker Mayfield. It's theoretically, Mikey, do you have a hot take? I've been very nervous to hear about your hot take, Mike.
I was just gonna go on that. I'm just gonna take the other point on that. I think we still haven't seen Jefferson's ceiling, and I think with the additions of Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson here for a full season, and KJ Osborne maybe stepping deeper into another a greater role in this offense. I think that we still haven't seen the ceiling for Justin Jefferson. He could break 2K this year. I understand it's going to be still tough, but he's also still growing as a player. He's still getting better. We also have to remember what we said about TJ Hawkinson. Same goes for Justin Jefferson. He's very young. He's younger than me. I think that we still haven't seen the top.
I hope
maybe he does break 2K this year. Maybe not. I think it's entirely reasonable that he takes a step back. I don't see it being less than 1,400 yards unless, barring injury and missing games. But I think at a minimum,
knock on wood, he has not done yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I don't think it's going to be a significant step back. But again, it's one of those things. He hits 1,400, 1,600, 1,800. There's really not much else to go except for down. So that does make a lot of sense, and I can totally see that happening.
Also, how is he going to be now that we don't have a strong running game? That's another thing is how much are we going to have to rely on the pass? Teams are now going to really prioritize the pass over the run for us.
Which that could be a strength for him, being that we don't have Dalvin. We don't have to be that team that says, well, we have Dalvin Cook, so we have to give him the ball 20 times. We might be able to just pass the ball a little bit more because we're not paying a running back to feed the ball to. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword in that way, being that we don't have a strong run game or an alleged strong run game. It could help us.
And also, I'm a little worried going, and I know it's going to happen. We are going to be a pass-first team, and we're going to see a large increase in the amount of times we pass the ball during drives. Makes me a little bit worried for Kirk because he was already one of them. Was he the number one most hit QB last year? He's going to take so many more hits this year. Because our O-line really didn't get much better. And I'm a little worried about that now going into becoming a full-on, we are pass first, arguably our best three offensive players are receivers or a tight end. So that means we're going to have to go into the pass more often. That means there's going to be more opportunities for Kirk to get hurt, more opportunities for Kirk to get sacked, knocked down. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. We can't completely just move on from the run game. So I do think Madison is still going to be getting around those 20 touches plus a game just to take a beating off of Kirk. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on as well as the season progresses.
Well, and I've got maybe a hot take for the season, not necessarily for this one game. I like Alexander Madison. I think he's a good back. Hot take. I think he has less than 700 rushing yards on the season.
I think 800 is the magic number. 800
less than 700
10+ touchdowns.
I don't know.
I'm closer with Carey. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to say 900 just because if he can stay healthy, I think he's good.
I just don't see why he would not. It seemed like every game almost every game I would be curious. Games where Cook was inactive going into the game. How many of those games did Alexander Madison have over 100 rushing yards? 90% of them?
How many of those games were against the Lions?
But that was a lot of his really big games. Rushing the ball came 2 years ago. Cook stayed pretty healthy last year. So honestly, I don't think he had a lot of rushing yards last year. I think we did this question. I think he was at like 300 or 400 last year with the time he played. And because I was going to use that as a question this year, but he really didn't get a lot of playing time last year because, like I said, Dalvin Cook was able to stay healthy.
He played all 17 games, so.
Yeah. So.
Hot takes for the game. I said Justin Jefferson up under 100 yards.
All right. We get a Kirk Cousins gritty.
You guys aren't going to like this one. Hot take, Baker Mayfield, he's going to throw over 250 yards.
I get it. I get it. You've got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and arguably in not an improved offensive line. That offensive line is worse.
Definitely worse.
We should win the game, I think, but I think it's going to be really hard, and I think it's going to be one of those. Like, do you remember a lot of Baker Mayfield's like games last year, especially when he went to, I think it was LA? He kept it really close.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that's going to be the thing with Baker Mayfield this next year is he's going to keep a lot of the games really close, just not have what it takes to win most of them. And I just don't trust our defense.
I think 5+ sacks in this game, but we don't get a single sack against Philly. That's one of my other hot takes.
Wow. Do we have score predictions? Because we should wrap this thing up here pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'm thinking 27-13 Vikings.
I'll say – oh, sorry. You go, Austin.
I was going to say 26-21 Vikings.
I'm going to say 21-20 Vikings. It's going to be a lot closer than we want it to be, a lot closer than we think it should be. And people, like you said, Carrie, people are going to sit here and they are going to blame all of our mistakes on the Vikings not playing the preseason. Are they right? I don't know, and I don't really care because they stayed healthy throughout the
preseason. This is preseason week 4 for the Vikings.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So we've got it on record. Again, mine was 21-20 Vikings. Austin, yours was...
I want to do a better job of keeping track of that this year. Yep. I'm gonna write these down.
You go first.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. We got a suggestion last season that we should keep track of who the winner is and who can best predict the winner and the spread for.
Well, yeah. So 26-21 Vikings over. That's mine.
And you said 26-21, Austin?
Yeah.
Why 26? How's that going to happen?
It can happen.
Just happen. Weird scores
happen. And Mikey said 21-20.
Yep.
It's not really that I mean, think about it. Like one touchdown and a bunch of field goals. All it takes. Or 2 touchdowns and a couple field goals. It's really not that hard. I think we're going to score on most of our offensive drives. I do not think we're going to have to like punt the ball over during this game. I just think our defense is going to struggle. Mm-hmm. Also, another thing we should do before this episode ends, because I'm assuming this is probably going to be the last episode before week 1. We should do it on key players, and we've already kind of done it with TJ Hawkinson.
What was your hot take, Austin? I'm going to keep track of these as well.
My hot take was Baker Mayfield's going to throw over 250 yards. But we should also predict player season stats before the season starts.
Let's go quick.
Or like a hot take, like one hot take season stat.
Yeah, sure. We each could do one player, do a hot take season stat on them. Like
I'm gonna do Byron Murphy, less than 3 picks, and everyone's gonna be so pissed. I think he's gonna play great, but I think less than 3 picks. I don't think they're gonna want to throw to him.
Fair point. That's not bad. Here's mine. This one's hot. Kirk Cousins is throwing 40 touchdowns this year.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be his high. Well, I don't know if 40 will be his highest. I have to check, but I think it's going to be his highest touchdown season of his career.
You know what? Here's mine. DJ Wanham is second in team sacks.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Is there anything else that happened around the league? I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened around the league, but we don't have to get into all of them today.
Damar Hamlin probably going to be playing this year. That's huge.
Yep. He's the projected comeback player of the year, I guess unless he really is a liability out there. I mean,
yeah. Just him stepping on the field is accomplishment enough.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The fact that he's able to come back from that at all. So, way to go, DeMar.
Yeah. Okay, one more thing. It doesn't have to be a Vikings player. What NFL player do you think this is their breakout season? Gonna just jump in like to a different status of player.
I think Joe Burrow is about to go to another echelon.
Good or bad?
I think this is Joe Burrow's MVP season, and I think this is like a 50-plus touchdown season for Joe Burrow.
Wait, can I pause you for a second? Did you say MVP or MVP?
MVP. Sorry, not Nickelodeon.
Or the Nickelodeon
Not Nickelodeon. No.
Because that could happen too.
I think it could, but I think Joe Burrow is about to go into like another planet. And not saying Bengals Super Bowl or anything like that. I'm just saying this is Joe Burrow's season. There's going to be hell to pay for anybody who's playing the Bengals. I have them going like 14-3, 15-2 maybe.
You know what? All right, here's mine. I think Kenny Pickett takes that next step.
I think so too. Steelers are the team to watch.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I think they go 9-8.
I think Kenny Pickett year.
Clear.
Mine, I've already told you this one. I think this is Trevor Lawrence's breakout year. Usually third year for a QB is always a really good season. And he really took a step last year. So I'm not saying
if Calvin Ridley is literally any good, then yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a great.
Because otherwise, that offense didn't change at all. And
but he did really well with. I mean, the fact that he did really well with that offense last year and getting a Calvin Ridley is just. You're right, Kerry. If Calvin Ridley really can just even play remotely to what he has in the past, I think that whole team is just a huge bump up. But yeah, no,
I think so damn excited for football. It's football time.
Yep, me too, man. Cannot wait. Is there anything else we need to hit right now? I'm good. Are you guys good?
Do we do seed prediction? We don't have to go through each week, but do we say our prediction for what we think the Vikings are going to finish this year? That's the only other thing.
17-0, baby. 17-0. That's it.
I'm going 10-7.
No, I think realistically probably 12-5.
I was just going to say 12-5.
12-5, 10-7, 17-0. All right. That's it. So, thanks for joining us again today. This is our year, the Minnesota Football Show. Follow us wherever you need to follow us, yada, 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 all that stuff. What was that?
There's an M.
Oh.
Minnesota.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're here to get that W.
Skull.
All right. We'll see you later. And it's the after show. Austin must have forgotten.
Whatever. We've been off for so long, you know.
Yeah. I mean, just gotta shake off a little rust. I get it. But
I know you gotta hit the lake, but
yeah, I do.
What do you 100? Is it true that Little Falls hit 100 today?
It did. It was 102 when I went out earlier today.
We got up to 94 today in Old Moorhead.
Unbelievable.
I wish I had access to water.
It's
like swimming water. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope you have drinking water. Stay hydrated, folks. On days like today, you got to stay hydrated. Yeah. I don't know. You probably couldn't see it very well through this, but I got a new shirt from 10,000 Takes.
God bless.
God bless Kirk Cousins. Chugging
and he's just drinking a beer?
Yep. It's not Kirk. It's what journalist Jake or whatever his name is.
Oh,
I just saw
okay.
the shirt and I thought it was really good.
I've
Yeah,
got
those
a
guys are
shirt
fun.
on my list right now. I've been really wanting to get, like the bootleg shirts that exist.
Which ones? Like
Just like bootleg shirts in general.
I don't know if I know what you're referring
Like the
to.
ones from the 90s, they'll say like they're usually black t-shirts and they'll say like Michael Jordan and it's like a photo compilation of Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and players wear those all the time. I've been really wanting to get this one of George Costanza from Seinfeld.
That's
I
great.
think that's on my list. I'm gonna get that pretty soon here. But I'm serious about the TJ Hawkinson jersey. I said to myself, these classic jerseys, it's literally it was the best news of the offseason to me.
No, I
The fact
remember
that
when you
we're
I
even
remember when you said
introducing
it to me.
throwbacks.
Yeah. You said whoever gets the extension done first out of those two.
Yep,
You're getting
and
it.
I'll get it. And as soon as I feel like I have sufficient funds, it'll be TJ. He won my heart.
That's exciting. He did. He really did win our hearts, huh? Ugh, yeah. Well,
It feels so good to be back.
planned special for the Labor Day weekend?
No, I don't. I didn't work tonight, and I don't work tomorrow. I'm gonna make food and hang out, play Madden, and I don't know, play a bunch of guitar and
Go good.
hang out. What about you? Rehearsing?
No, nothing. No rehearsal. No rehearsal on Monday, which is really nice. But it'll be good. Just keeping busy with that. But
When did the Vikings go to Chicago this year?
let's take a look at their schedule. Vikings to Chicago.
Because
That
I
is going
think
to be week
that'd be
6,
very
October 15th.
October 15th.
Yeah, early in
That's
the
a little
season.
soon.
It's a Sunday. It's not Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I
But-
know, but
we do have-
my mom and I are going to Jersey like that week. Because I was going to say you and I should go to Soldier Field with Lucas. He said he
That'd be
really
fun.
wants to.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I wish maybe I'll still go.
But I'm in Jersey that weekend.
That's too bad. The Vikings still do face the Bears on Monday Night Football, but it's at home this time, which is great.
How did we luck out with 2 Seahawks week 2 Monday Night Football matchups? How did that happen?
What are you talking about? This year?
Or Eagles?
Eagles. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, this year it's a Thursday night because I think it was Monday
Okay.
night last year, and it was another week 2 prime time game though, which is weird. I don't
Against
you know
the
what?
Eagles.
It's fine if we're gonna lose to the Eagles, which we might, we probably will. I would pick them to lose to the
It also
Eagles.
sucks that it's a short week too, and we're traveling. I don't like it. That's
Yeah,
why I
and
said
then after the Eagles, we've got the LA Chargers, but it's at home, so we'll see.
okay. And yeah,
We'll
we beat the piss out of the Chargers anytime we've played them the last few years. So
That's true, even with Justin Herbert.
back to like Phillip Rivers too. Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. It's not one to worry about. We've got a lot of time, and there's a lot of things that can happen in the first couple of weeks. So
Injuries too. I think last year I did I know it was very wrong to do, but I think I did like an injury hot take too. I was like, who's gonna get a season-ending injury this year?
don't like it. I don't like it. Oh man,
It is
But,
just a little suspicious that Justin Jefferson has never missed time, though.
knock on wood.
I know.
Yeah. Yep. No, it'll be good. I think it's gonna be. I'm just overall. I'm excited for football again.
I'm so damn excited.
And hey, good for
What'd
us
you
for
think
keeping
of-
the show under an hour.
What'd you think of the second league?
Oh, I don't like that draft nearly as much.
I loved that. I didn't really like taking CD so like with number 1, but I thought landing Joe Burrow again was awesome.
That's cool.
Getting Jets and Seahawks defense, I was very happy about.
I like my team. I don't love it. My first 2 picks were Stephon Diggs and AJ Brown, which I do really like.
Yeah.
Then I had to get Najee, and then I got probably Justin Fields after that, which I like Justin Fields. I think he's going to be fine. And, it's funny. Austin's not here, so we can say it. Austin, I remember he started off as the biggest Fields supporter, and now he calls him a running back. And he's like, oh, he can't throw. But again, in the same breath, he says, oh, these third-year quarterbacks, they take a big step. I think he will. I think he's going to be just fine throwing. I don't know if he's going to be an elite passer.
He'll be fine, but not even close to elite. I don't even think he throws barely above 3,000, I think.
No. And is DJ Moore an elite wide receiver 1? No. I think he's above average. And I think he's in a better situation than he was in Carolina.
I think he has a chance to really make a case for top 10 potentially. But that's an entire different conversation.
That's another day. Well, I'm going to get back on the lake.
Yeah, I'm going to make dinner.
There you go. All right.
All right. Godspeed, Mike.
Well, I guess we do only have one more thing to say.
What would that be?
Skull.
Skull.
There we go.
See you
Later.